beginner knitter. I started out having absolutely no idea what I'm doing. So now that I'm about 5 months into this journey, I'm starting to feel like I'm getting my footing, and I want to share my progression, projects that I started out with, where I am now, and where I want to go, as well as a little bonus at the end, the crochet things that I've been working on, because that's how I started in the fiber arts world, and I'm not going to just abandon my dear friend crochet. So starting out with my very first actually wearable knit project was this beanie. I followed a free YouTube tutorial that I will link below. I thought it was fantastic as someone who really didn't know what she was doing and never had anything that was of actual usable quality come out of knitting as I tried when I was 8. It just became this yarn ball of doom. So this is a smaller size beanie, not for any fault of the pattern itself. It's just that I was using scrap yarn and I ran out. So this is probably going to be a Christmas gift to a child, but I love how the edges, they just look very clean for someone's first knit project, and that's exactly what I was hoping for. So this is really great. I do think that it would be wise to put a little pom-pom, there we go, a little pom-pom on top, but it's just a simple garter stitch. You literally make a rectangle and then sew it together. So it really could not be simpler. The only simpler it could be would be if I had started with a scarf. Very, very happy with how this turned out, and it gave me some positive momentum to keep going. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure about the order of what went next. I think I made the Sophie scarf dupe next, so that's the order I'm gonna go in, but I could very well have jumped to the garment and done the two at the same time. I'm not entirely sure. So I made this Sophie scarf dupe. It's the Simple Thing on Ravelry, and it's got like over 3,000 projects. It was great. You do have to kind of guess and check of, okay, how often am I going to be doing an increase or a decrease to get the kind of tapering that I want. I was dumb and didn't write that down. So when it came time to replicate it, I'm trying to do one in the same exact yarn, Malabrigo Dos Tierras. It looks like a bluish grayish in the denim-y way. I've unraveled it, I think, at least 5 times, just because I haven't gotten that ratio that I did in this one right ever again. But it's very soft, very warm, and just chic. I'm very jealous because this is my mom's, or part of my mom's Christmas gift, and it's so beautiful. I did make my own for myself using some leftover yarn that I had from my red crochet sweater. If you are interested in what that looks like, I have a vlog of my red sweater. Beautiful, vibrant red, and it's crochet that doesn't look like it's crochet. So if you're curious, go check it out. I had about a skein left. I barely used any of the last skein on the sweater, and so naturally I was like, okay, this is what I have. I don't have much of a stash because I've only been crocheting for, at that point, maybe a year and a half, and knitting for weeks at that point. So this is what I use. I don't know how versatile the red is going to be, which is why I tried the blue. The denim-y color is getting on my nerves. I don't know if I'm just going to unravel it and put it in timeout. That is another problem for, frankly, another day. So after that, I did the Sabai top. And if you are on my Instagram, you saw a lot of this project. Lots of updates, a lot of information. I also did a video on like my takeaways from it that's on this channel. But overall, I had a great experience. I ended up doing the more complicated version with the knit one, purl one, and then the more detailing on the side. And I'm so happy that I did. I didn't need a class. It was challenging, but not out of what was possible, right? Based on the skills that I'd learned with the Sophie scarf, which is increases, decreases, and the hat. So it was, and nothing that like YouTube and some friends in my knitting group couldn't help me out with. Also learning how to knit in the round was important, but it was also pretty easy once you have the hang of it. So I'm very happy with it. I love the yarn as well that I used, which is Sammy by Amano. Incredibly soft. I just want to live in this yarn. If you want more information about the Sabai top, check out that video. I'm going to switch out my camera battery because we're about to jump into my magnum opus. What I've been working for and working toward for this entire time ever since I started crocheting. So give me 1 second. If you're new here or we just don't know each other that well, I started my crochet journey because I desperately wanted to make my own knit sweaters, specifically a beautiful cable knit in something that wasn't at least half polyester. And I couldn't find that in stores anywhere anymore. When I could have. I have sweaters that are 10 years old from when I was in high school and college that are 60, 70, 90% cotton or wool, and I walked into a few malls and I couldn't find anything that wasn't like cashmere, like $250. So that's what really got me into knitting that and beautiful Fair Isle sweaters showing up on my Instagram feed incessantly. So I started crocheting because I knew that I had tried to knit when I was about 8 years old and I just couldn't pick it up. So I thought, okay, why don't I try with one tool in one hand instead of trying to manage and coordinate two tools, which is the 2 needles. This has been what I've been working toward, and it's so emotional to be able to hold up my first knit long sleeve sweater because it's what I've wanted for so long. I didn't think I could do it for a very long time, if I'm being honest with you, and so it's just so exciting and emotional for me to be able to hold up and say, I did it. This is the step-by-step sweater by Handmade by Florence. I chose to do the double folded collar because I wasn't thrilled with how the Knit One Purl one looked because I wasn't twisting the stitches. I didn't know to do that. So the double folded collar made it look a lot more structured and put together. And I used Malabrigo Rios in Cosmos and Natural, I believe. And I ended up using 2 skeins of each, I think. I'm a little nervous because I've heard that Malabrigo's Rios will grow a lot in blocking, and I have not blocked this yet. I think I finished it maybe 2 days ago, the day before yesterday. So it's still in I'm too lazy to block it phase, but I'll still try it on for you guys. The decision to do a striped or multicolor sweater as my first was a little unconventional, I think. If I didn't have that background of crocheting, I don't know if I would have started with a striped sweater, but I had crocheted a few sweaters before and they were mostly single colored, and I wanted something a little bit different, a little bit more exciting to do during the process, but also just as I'm wearing it. So this has been a beautiful striped way to do that. I don't know how often I'll be wearing stripes, but if I do, it'll probably be one of these. I switched to the twisted 1x1 rib here for the cuff, and I think it looks a lot more professional and nice. I don't know how to like give you a close-up of the bottom rib as well, which I also did in like 1x1 twisted rib. A challenge that I did have was joining, I guess you can't really tell from far away, but joining the rounds, and then also the fact that it's hand-dyed yarn and one skein looked pretty different from the other despite being the same dye lot. I promise you, I kept the tags. They are the same dye lot. It's not just like carrying the yarn of the white and the blue, it's also for the blue carrying 2 different ones of the blue before a transition so that it looks more seamless. If you look closely enough, you will tell the difference on the body, but luckily I think there wasn't a change, so the sleeves should be the same yarn color. I don't have a lot of comments. I don't see a problem with it. I know it's going to grow with blocking, so the height isn't bothering me at all. The ribbing I had already done and I redid it because it was too short. I think I had done it only the width of like 2 fingers, and you can tell that's like much bigger than 2 fingers. Maybe 3.5 fingers. So this is everything that I have knit in the past few months, but I do want to show you some crochet projects that I've worked on recently. So I finished this hat a while ago, hat and skinny scarf. There's a lot of stripes going on, but if you're wearing a solid color, it looks less crazy. This was literally just a scrap yarn. I had a bunch of scrap yarn that I was gifted or that I have left over from different projects, and I thought to unleash my edgy side. Next we have my little recent journey into pattern designing, question mark, question mark, question mark. Wild, I know, I did not expect to be going into this that soon, but I made this New York scarf. New York, it's double-sided, so you can choose to wear it a little bit more elevated just with the ribbing, and then you can also wear it with the New York part facing out. I really like it. It's not too warm for being like double, so I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It's available on Etsy and Ravelry, and there's also an accompanying video on this channel for like the different techniques like changing colors and joining the sides. So if you like the New York scarf, check it out. And you don't have to do the back covered. I prefer it. That's how I have designed it. But you could technically leave the floats exposed and it'll probably felt over time. The next thing I designed, I have not written up the pattern in a PDF yet. I did film the tutorial that's going to go on YouTube to accompany it. But this is what I'm calling the boho belt. I do still reserve the right to change the name before the tutorial hits YouTube and the pattern hits Etsy and Ravelry. It is a crochet belt. So it's a decorative belt. I'm going to bring this up. I can also just insert a video or a photo of wearing it. So it's just a decorative belt to help you accentuate your waistline. And my cousin actually asked me to make something like this for her, and I couldn't find a pattern like it. I couldn't find even anything available to buy that was in this style. So I figured I would share with the world what I was able to put together. And finally, what I've been working on right now, I was given this yarn, and if you watch my shorts or my Instagram, you'll know that this came a little while ago. It has, I forget what it's called, but it has these portions where the fiber is not tightly wound. It actually does, as I'm working with it, sometimes come apart, and I have to like rejoin it. So I do have to be careful with working with it. And then there's these tightly wound parts. So I struggled a lot with figuring out like gauge, what needles to use, what hooks. I tried to crochet with a bunch of different stitches with it, and I just couldn't get something that I liked with this yarn. I have 3. One of them is on my needles right now. So this is what I came up with. It's going to be a poncho, which is why it's in this shape. Hopefully the fact that it is a poncho will let me get away with having 3 skeins of it. But if not, the yarn is pretty stretchy. If I have to block it out, I probably can. So this is as far as I've gotten. I've got a little bit of ways to go with this poncho. It could be like a little crop top poncho thing. We'll see. We're gonna roll with it. I still have a good chunk of this yarn left, so I'm not worried yet. I do think I'm going to write up the instructions on how to do this because I couldn't find good instructions quickly on the internet. Someone I know in real life actually asked me to make both the New York scarves and the poncho, which I don't even have a sample. I don't even have what it looks like in person, but they just love the bobbin so much they've asked me to make them for them. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've reached this point, I think we should be friends. I really appreciate your hanging out with me. If you have any advice on any of the projects that I've worked on or I am currently working on, let me know in the comments below. And if you are a new knitter or crocheter and you're looking for some advice, hit me up. I'm happy to help. Hit the like and subscribe button. I would really appreciate that. And if you like this video, you might really like my video about my 2024 crochet plans.